Hello, I'm James Gunn. I'm the Reform Party candidate for Oxford, West and Abingdon, and today I want to talk to you about government waste. We're going to slash the wasteful spending because we need to increase the funding available for the frontline public services. We need to concentrate on the citizen, on the patient, on the whoever's the benefit of the public services, and not on the administration and the financial stuff and the treasury-facing part of the government. Okay, so we need to do that to reduce the taxes for working people and to also restore the sense that people are getting something for all that money they're giving the government. Okay, so we have discovered that the British government is the only government paying interest on all the money that they've printed. They call it quantitative easing reserves when they do it, but they call it printing money when Zimbabwe does it. So the amount of money we've printed is now enormous, and the interest payments on it are 35 billion a year. Now this is something that Richard Tice has uniquely identified, and it's now being confirmed by the IFS, Financial Times, and the New Economics Foundation that this is actually true, and that it's such a large sum of money. So we're going to stop paying that as soon as we become become the government. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to save £5 in every £100. We know that there's a lot of waste going on in government. We know that a lot of resources need to be transferred to what business people call the front office. That's the customer-facing part of the organisation. And we need to stop doing a lot of the back office functions. So when that mindset is instilled in the public service, I think people will notice immediately how much better the government works. We also want to do much better value procurement because it's very clear that we're not getting value for money for that. A lot of very large companies are getting very large contracts which the government doesn't seem able to manage well. So we need to have a look at that. We might get better value by placing several smaller contracts to regional companies. It might restore the balance of the economy back away from a London-centric economy. That might be a good thing, don't you think? We're also going to get rid of those 6,700 European Union laws which the civil service thought would be too difficult to get hold of. We've got to get rid of when the government asked them to look at it. The government weren't terribly serious about it, clearly. But if we can get rid of that kind of regulation, and there's some which isn't EU driven, so there's more of that we can go. Get rid of all those regulations and let you do things. You have to remember that the European Union people aren't allowed to do anything until they're given permission by the government. In Britain, it's always been the other way around. We're allowed to do something until we give our consent to the government to stop us doing it. Now, we've rather been allowing the government to get away with things recently, perhaps this last generation, and it's time we started pushing back and taking our rights and our freedoms seriously. We're going to cut foreign aid by 50%. Foreign aid is a vehicle for corruption. It goes to political officials and it goes to public sector employees, senior employees, into their pockets, and very little good comes out of it. Unfortunately, there's a whole industry around it telling you that it's wonderful, and that's not just the charities, but the industries that get business from foreign countries. I think a much better way of helping these countries to become less poor is to allow them to trade freely. And the customs union of the European Union was designed to do exactly the opposite to that, to keep them out of European markets, where they could have made everything much cheaper and so forth. But we are making the same mistake post-Brexit of not trading with these kind of countries. Commonwealth, ideal trading partners, we should be trying to do this. So that's why I think cutting foreign aid is not a horrendous piece of weakness. It's actually a really good idea. And finally, we know that a lot of billions in tax is not being collected by Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. We believe that's due to understaffing. We believe it's due to a sort of an unwillingness to tackle the very rich, or the super rich, and their lawyers. And indeed, perhaps they're right. Perhaps they don't have the expertise to do it, but they nevertheless should have the expertise to do it. And reform will make sure that they start collecting serious amounts of tax which are just uncollected at the moment. So thanks for listening, and I hope you'll vote for me on the 4th of July.